Frank Williams was a man who would never throw in the towel, either on the racetrack or off it. Frank's determination to never be beaten was a characteristic that almost everybody who was in contact with him in work or outside of it said was plain to see. A spinal cord injury after a car accident left him without the use of his legs in 1986, an incident that left him in such a condition that the doctors at one point discussed with his wife Ginny turning off the life support machine. But Frank would never say never, eventually returning to the paddock and continuing to thrive in motorsport's elite ranks for a number of years. Never giving up was his attitude to motorsport as well. Creating the F1 team Frank Williams Racing Cars in 1969, little success followed in the first 8 years in the sport. One fastest lap and a smattering of points were all the team could muster, and financial troubles left Sir Frank running the constructor out of a phone box at one point after the phone lines of the team office were cut off, eventually selling 60% of the team to Canadian businessman Walter Wolff before leaving the team with Patrick Head in 1977. But Williams and Head knew they had a dynamic duo forming, and the two were back on the scene by the 5th race of the season, under the Williams banner with just one driver, the Belgian Patrick Neve. The pair had backing from money from the Middle East, and Williams were quick to impress in Formula 1, taking their first win at the British Grand Prix in 1979 with Clay Regazzoni. Driver Alan Jones would add 4 more wins that season to give Williams second in the constructors' standings behind the Crimson Reds of Ferrari, outdoing the established brands of McLaren and Lotus. The following year, Williams would go one better, taking the 1980 constructors' title, with Alan Jones the drivers' champion. That kicked off a golden age for Williams, with Frank a constant at the helm of the team. In the 1980s and 90s, Williams took 7 constructors' titles in a 12-year period, and no less than 5 drivers, Nigel Mansell, Nelson Piquet, Alain Prost, Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve, all stood atop the standings come the end of the season. This period of success, however, was marred by the tragic death of Ayrton Senna at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix at the Imola circuit. Frank had long admired the Brazilian driver and his skill behind the wheel, but the Williams boss faced manslaughter charges in Italy following the fatal crash. Charges that would hang over him for a number of years before eventually being dropped after a long legal dispute. In the last decade or so, Frank was seen less and less around the paddock, although he was in attendance the last time a Williams driver stood atop the podium in 2012 at the Spanish Grand Prix, the 114th race victory for Williams coming thanks to the skills of Pastor Maldonado. Before passing the team over to Dorilton Capital in 2020, Frank had overseen 735 races for Williams and maintained the title of team principal until the day he passed the team on, with his daughter Claire running the team on the pit wall under the guise of just deputy team principal. In 1987, the Queen awarded Frank a CBE before he was knighted to become Sir Frank in 1999, and his last spin around a racetrack came in 2019 when Lewis Hamilton took him for a few laps around Silverstone. Sir Frank Williams is a name, a figure that will stand the test of time as one of Formula One's most influential personalities, who leaves behind a legacy not only on the sport, but on so many individuals within it. A father of 3 to Claire, Jonathan and Jamie, a husband to Ginny, and an influence to so many. Sir Frank Williams, who passed away this week aged 79.